Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in that wonderful feeling of relaxation, and as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close, for your eyelids to feel heavier, and to feel that tension is leaving your body in your outward breath. Simply by breathing in and breathing out, you're able to feel like you're going deeper and deeper relaxed. And as you relax, notice where tension is in your body. There may be tension in your eyelids, in your jaw, your neck, or your shoulders. As you breathe in and breathe out, just set the intention to release that tension. I want you to wonder what the feeling of resourcefulness would be to you. As you breathe in, imagine breathing in resourcefulness, but also I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you're drifting into the future where you're enjoying a holiday. But I want you to visit that future as a version of you that has tapped into you at your most consistent when it comes to eating, exercising, and activity. Feel what it would be like to be wearing those clothes, enjoying being in the sunshine, maybe catching a reflection of yourself in a shop window. But see what it would feel like to be in the future as you would want to be. I want you to find somewhere comfortable. Maybe that's on a beach or by a pool or somewhere relaxing. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to entertain the idea as to what self-esteem really is. Many people confuse self-esteem with confidence. Confidence is your belief in your ability to be able to do something at a certain level, even if that's just being a certain way around people. But self-esteem is the contrast between your ideal self and your current self. And I want you to imagine there you are on that holiday where your ideal self and your current self are at the same level. You can enjoy that holiday not wondering what it would be if you'd have done more. You're there enjoying that holiday, feeling like you've got back into a rhythm that you were in the past, that you're proud of the choices you've been making. I want you to enjoy that holiday, feeling that there's a sense of pride and accomplishment, that by putting the work in, the effort in, by making those choices, feeling this way is your reward. And while you're there, enjoying perhaps the outdoors, perhaps the sunshine, that feeling of self-esteem, body positivity, gratitude for your level of health and vitality that you have in that moment, I want you to think back to a time when you were at your best when it came to food choices, exercise choices, and activity levels. I want you to remember what you were doing back then, almost like you're seeing yourself as a character in a computer game. See those rituals, those standards, those behaviors, those ways of thinking. What was your facial expression like when you woke up and you started doing that morning exercise? What was the emotion linked to you making the food choices that you made? How did it look when you were getting ready to do some exercise either in the home or the gym? And I want you to get a sense that this is your benchmark. That you, at the best you've ever been, is definitely attainable because you've already done that level. As you breathe in and breathe out, just release any tension in your eyelids, in your jaw. Feel like you're becoming more and more relaxed. That's it. And think about that version of you. It was possible because you did it. But I wonder what would happen if you set the intention to compete with you at your very best. Because if your self-esteem was sky high when you were doing the best you've ever done, what would happen to your self-esteem if you did better than you've ever done? It stands to reason that you can always feel better. You can feel healthier, feel more proud, feel with more energy and vitality, to feel stronger. And I want you to imagine, here in this moment, what would happen if you spent the next 10, 20, or even 30 years avoiding all of these opportunities of progress? You would arrive at a point perhaps in your 70s or 80s where even if you wanted to go for a long walk, you couldn't. Even if you wanted to go to the gym, you wouldn't. I want you to get a sense that what you're really doing is you are creating more quality of life. Perhaps you can imagine a futuristic bracelet that has how many years, months and days you have remaining of quality life. And imagine that you were able to exercise in the morning but chose not to. You were able to eat delicious fruits and vegetables but chose not to. That quality lifespan would make virtually no difference on whatever you did on any one day. But if day after day you were making poor food choices, you avoided activity and exercise, that bracelet would dwindle the amount of days, weeks, months, and years of quality life you have remaining. But equally, if you were doing things like you've done in the past, getting into that flow state of not having to exercise but wanting to exercise, not having to eat healthy but choosing to eat healthy, again, over just a couple of days, there'd be no different on that bracelet of how much quality life you have left. But as you got into that habit of doing it day after day, week after week, the time would increase even though you're getting older. Many people are waiting to feel motivated enough, to feel determined enough, to feel energetic enough to exercise more, without realizing that it works the other way round. If you want more energy, be more energetic, do more things that require physical activity. If you want to feel healthier, don't wait till you feel healthy to eat those fruits and vegetables. By eating the fruits and vegetables, you will then feel healthier. Health, energy, vitality but also confidence and personal pride come from the outcome of doing things that you can even enjoy while you're doing them and enjoy the benefits after. And there's very few things in life that are enjoyable in the moment, but also give you that legacy of pleasure way after the moment. And this is always the clue to good choices, good decisions. What's a good decision in the moment, and also going to be a good decision when you think about it years in the future. I want you to imagine going forward in time to when you're 80 years old. And I want you to imagine going into an 80-year-old version of you, where up to that point you avoided exercise, you avoided eating healthy. I want you to feel what it would feel like to feel sick and fragile, immobile and inactive. Assess the limitations on your choices. Assess that even if you wanted to do these things, you couldn't. And then imagine rewinding time to today and choosing that you will aim to compete with you at your very best. The best routines, the best habits, the best eating choices. And imagine that you maintain that for years and years. And then go forward in time to also being 80, but being an active, healthy, vibrant 80-year-old. Maybe you're still running or exercising at that point in time. Maybe you're still going to the gym. Maybe you're having adventurous holidays, knowing that there are 80-year-olds that just sit in a chair all day long, but you are an active 80-year-old. And if this feels like it's a desirable future, an appealing future, a future that you both desire and deserve, let me know by nodding your head. So I want you to return to the present, setting the intention to compete with that version of you perhaps from just a few years ago. I want you to imagine that there is a ghost-like clone of you, that at any point in time you can imagine what the version of you from 2 years ago was doing. And I want you to imagine that they are your competition. So just take a moment to imagine what would happen across a week if you were competing with that version of you when you had the best routines, the best rituals, the best diet that you've ever had, and that you were competing with that version of you. Take a few moments and imagine that possible future. And notice that the more that you think about that, the more winnable that this game is. Because there is nothing that that previous version of you was doing that you couldn't also do. But the version of you from 2 years ago didn't have a benchmark, and you do. So you have the possibility, but also the benefit of outdoing what you've done in the past. You could just eat 1% healthier than that version of you 2 years ago. You could have slight increase in intensity. You might do what you did before and just add 1 or 2 extra things in. And it's the process I want you to focus on, not the outcome. doing the things to the same level or higher. And I want you to imagine that after just a few days, you can find a rhythm, find a routine. But I want you to get a sense that the game is always winnable. That even if you miss something in the morning, you might imagine that ghost-like clone of you to be slightly further ahead for the day, but that does not mean that you can't overtake them later. Any days that you feel like you're behind, you just ignore, but the days that you feel like you've been ahead, you remember. The more you positively reinforce the behavior you'd like to do more, the more motivated you become. There is no guilt, no shame, no pressure, no stress, just you're going to keep playing until you consistently outperform a previous version of you, and in doing so, you will be rewarded with health, energy, vitality, and sky-high self-esteem. You will benefit in the moment, but you will also benefit every future version of you. You'll be giving a gift to the version of you 1 year from now. You'll be giving a gift to the version of you 5 years from now. And just imagine that there are infinite future versions of you that will all benefit from the effort that you only have to invest to outdo something you've already done. You are unlocking the desire, the worthiness, the resources, but also the playfulness. This is just a game. And each day you play the game better than a version of you before, you are winning this game. And it feels good to win this game, but it also feels good to know that your future versions of you are benefiting from this game that you're playing with yourself. Your mind and body work in perfect harmony. Whenever you're doing exercise, allowing you to experience a state of flow and peak performance. And you draw inspiration from the progress you've made in the past, using it as fuel to propel yourself further, breaking your own limitations. You enjoy the process of challenging yourself. It feels good to not compete with anyone else, but compete with yourself at a different point in time, knowing that this is a competition you can win, and the more you win, the more you improve your life, the quality of your life, the length of your life, but also the enjoyment you experience in your life. You have been given a privilege, and there is a point in the future that privilege will expire. And I want you to feel that it would be ungrateful to have a privilege and not utilize it. Imagine a good friend or family member gifting you a wonderful holiday, a villa by the beach, and never using it. You would miss out on the wonderful holiday, but also you're depriving that friend or family member of doing something nice for you. It would be seen as being ungrateful. You've been given mobility, energy, an idea that you want to improve the quality of your life, and all of this is a privilege. And it would be a tragedy to not utilize that privilege. when your unconscious mind feels that it is aligned with raising your standards to meet and exceed standards that have already been there in the past, to feel good in the moment and to feel even better in the future, when all parts are reconciled with this new mission, new target, new game, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to take that feeling, return to the present as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. And very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken, feeling resourceful, feeling motivated, feeling that the past is evidence that you can do this, and the future is evidence that you want this, and the present is your privilege to actually do this. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.